Today's episode is brought to you by Buncher Crunch because it's delicious.
Yeah, baby!
We are corporate shills for Nestle.
And Mondo, because we work for Alamo Draft House.
And Mondo, yeah.
And these are actually really cool, though. We actually don't even get paid by Mondo, but we love everything that they make. If they would send us pens and glasses, we would promote them more and tell people to buy everything during pre-order time, because everybody's like, hey, how do you get those cool glasses? And I'm like, if you pre-order them, you'll get them.
Yeah.
And these things are actually worth, like, no bullshit. I'm not even a shill right now. I actually really like these.
Yeah, I know. They're sick. I have so many of these.
Yeah.
I have like 4 of the Civil War glasses.
You started getting them before I did.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize that you had to pre-order them.
Yeah. And like, because if there's a lot of orders, then they'll have more there.
Right.
And you can order them afterwards.
Yeah.
But if not a lot of people are ordering, I think they only order enough
X
for...
amount. Like, I hear the Blade Runner ones that they had are going for like $120 on eBay.
Wow.
That's nuts. But anyway, hey everybody.
Hey everybody, welcome to After the Movie. We are your hosts. I'm Skylar.
I'm Brandon.
And today's episode is brought to you by Nihilism, because award shows mean nothing.
Yeah.
And we really shouldn't care about them because they're all just a marketing kind of thing.
It's like...
They're all pretty political.
It's kind of like when people like kind of like coming up with good people and bad people to make bad people seem badder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, well, yeah, because it's like, you know...
It's a scheme.
Yeah, I guess we'll get into it in a bit, but it's like, you know, I think La La Land's a pretty good movie, you know? I think at the very least it's well made, you know? Whatever you feel about it, you know, personally is like, you know, that's cool. But, you know, I think it's like to pit it against a movie like Moonlight, and I'm not saying it was better than Moonlight, because I didn't even see Moonlight, but I knew Moonlight was going to win. But I'm just like, those are 2 different movies. It's the same thing with like, you know, like Shakespeare in Love versus Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Those are not the same movie in any way. You can, like, what is the purpose of giving out these awards when they're so like a lot of the things you pick are so vastly different? The year the Grand Budapest Hotel was nominated, it was kind of like, I mean, that movie's so different from all the other movies. It's like, how do you measure that movie versus the other ones? Like, what's the criteria? You know, how do Pulp Fiction and Forrest Gump and the Shawshank Redemption, like, those are 3 totally different movies, but everybody thinks you'll find one person who would go to bat for each one of those movies. Right. You know what I mean?
That's why it's just so hard to pick like your favorite movies too, because it's just like, well, I really liked, you know, this, but yeah, this was a different kind of movie. That's why I liked it.
Yeah, so. And then even if you tried to break it down into like genres, that even gets kind of tough, because it's like, you know, within a genre there are like sub-genres, and I don't know, it's just hard to categorize that. It's like, you know, I really like John Hughes movies, but not all John Hughes movies are the same. You know, so it's like I can't even say I have a favorite John Hughes movie, because it's like, you know, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and Ferris Bueller's Day Off are like 2 different movies. Yeah. You know, they're not telling the same story. They're not doing similar things. I think like when you're comparing movies, really you can only compare them to other good versions of that story, really. You know, but I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, man.
Well, anyway. Today, we're here to talk about multiple things, but first on the list is our review of Phantom Thread that we both saw, and it's out now. So, you know, if you still are watching reviews for it, like ours, I don't know what to tell you.
I think we're gonna talk about it pretty well.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know.
You know, maybe. So I guess non-spoilers and then spoilers, or you know.
Yeah, we'll say the non-spoiler part.
Yeah.
We'll flash on the screen.
Yeah.
And then have people like fast forward to when we're not.
Yeah, so
you know, yeah. You know what I mean.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
So Phantom Thread, what did you think?
I went into Phantom Thread thinking that I wasn't gonna like it at all.
You went on like a roller coaster of emotion before we saw Phantom Thread. I remember when the trailer came out, you were like I'm not on board.
No, I was like, no.
You were on board.
Was I? No, I don't think at first.
I thought you were on board first, and then all of a sudden, Brandon came up to me another day, and he's like, dude, Phantom Thread, no. Dude, no. And I was like, what happened? And he was like, I don't know, dude, no, it's just not happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, Okay. And then like the day before we saw it, you were like back on board again.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened with you there, but that was just really funny.
I don't know what happened either.
A whole roller coaster.
I was just like, yeah, no, it's just so rated. And then I was like, yeah, no, it's not. It's Daniel Day-Lewis' movie. I have to watch it.
Yeah.
But I was really excited just to see it, just so I could be like, okay, am I gonna be right or am I gonna be wrong?
Mm-hmm. And how do you think you were?
I was very wrong.
Oh.
Because I loved it.
So you loved it.
Yeah. I loved it.
I'm conflicted about it. I liked it in that I thought it was a good movie. Mm-hmm. It's like it was what I was just saying right now. I think it's a really well-made movie. I think it's really well written. But personally, I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about that movie. Because last week we were talking about like movies with like morally ambiguous characters,
right?
And this guy's not morally ambiguous. He's just frustrating. And it's, like, frustrating to be around him.
Right.
Because he's so...
He's kind of a dick.
Yeah. I would go so far as to say not kind of, but
he's
just a
total dick.
He's just a huge dick. This guy's a dick.
That's how I felt the entire, like up into the scene.
With the asparagus.
With the asparagus scene. I kept leaning over to Skylar, and I wasn't sure if I liked the movie up into the asparagus scene, because I was so frustrated with Woodcock. He was such a dick to his employees, to women, and it really frustrated me. But then I remembered, okay, this is his job. He's doing his job. Let me just keep giving him a chance, the benefit of the doubt, and. Coming back to like 2017 characters, like those morally ambiguous characters and questionable. I think it comes back to that theme where he isn't. This guy's a total dickbag. He isn't like, I wouldn't say full on dickbag because he's doing his job, blah blah blah. But he's by no means a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's a total jerk. He cares more about himself more than anything else.
It's like everything has to be all precise, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, that's not how the world works. It can't all revolve around you.
Yeah, and then like it dawned on me. I'm just like, but this is how people take their work though sometimes, and it even kind of dawned on me. I was like, holy crap, I can be like this asshole sometimes too. I could be the same kind of asshole that he is in a way. Yeah. When I'm working, and I hate to admit that, but it's just like, okay, this is how people are when they really dig into their creativity.
Yeah.
At least some people.
Yeah, I totally get that.
And I think that the portrayal that he was doing was really well done.
Yeah. No, he did a great job. That being said, Daniel Day-Lewis, stop.
Stop being sad, man.
Dude, I don't think it he did it. He like when he plays an asshole in a movie. He does, in Gangs of New York, you didn't have to be a dickhead to Liam Neeson.
Right.
Like, you're an actor, dude. I mean.
He's such a method actor.
If I was so inclined, but who am I? I mean, like whatever. But it's like.
Oh.
What happened?
A wild Max appears.
But if I was so inclined, I'd be like, I feel like you can't be that good of an actor if you have to.
Be that much of an asshole.
If you have to go so deep into the, do you know what I mean? It's like he has to work extra hard. Like other people can just, just do it.
Right.
And but that being said, he is a great actor.
Yeah.
It was just a funny thing to say.
Certainly,
so don't write any mean things or whatever. I was just being silly. Yeah. But anyway, no, it's just very frustrating. Daniel Day-Lewis, please, just make a comedy or something. Just. Do something fun and silly. Why do you think De Niro is in a bunch of garbage comedies now?
He should play like a good mentor character. It would be so cool to see like Star Wars fanboy here of Daniel Day-Lewis came by in Star Wars and was like this really bro mentor to like the new era of Jedi.
A new kind of Obi-Wan.
Yeah, like a new Obi-Wan, but totally cool and lax and goofy.
Yeah.
And then he can die,
that'd be sick.
Peacefully, and it'd be okay, we all look up to this guy. We don't need to avenge him, but he was a good, role model to live by, and I think it'd be a good stone point.
What kind of method acting would he do to get into a role of a space wizard?
I think he would look a lot up to Allen Guinness.
Yeah,
of
maybe.
Course,
yeah,
because I mean, like that's something I was reading on Reddit the other day. How good Allen Guinness portrayed Obi-Wan's character when he was talking about going back to knowing Anakin Skywalker. He sat there like he was actually part of the Clone Wars. Like he knew the Clone Wars before he was even made. He knew Anakin Skywalker, and Allen Guinness was a hell of an actor. So I think he would just look up a lot like to him.
I think he would also. I just thought about it now, but because it's based on a lot of like Akira Kurosawa imagery and like samurai films, he would probably look into like the ways of the samurai and all that. That's probably what he would do.
The very Gandalfian.
And then he would make it sad. Yeah. And it would be like, dude, like why? Yeah. Like it's like his prerogative.
I would want it to be a happy, sad, very very. Taika Waititi should make a Star Wars movie, and Daniel Day-Lewis should just be the mentor in the movie, and it would be perfect.
If I can, I'm going to edit in Taika Waititi's tweet where someone asked if he would make a Star Wars movie because it's the funniest.
LOLs!
Like, LOLC. So fine, I'll put it right here.
Kathleen Kennedy, I would love for you to finish the Star Wars
Sure film. You would. Sure you would. But anyway, Phantom Thread. It's pretty good, you know? It's,
Coming back to Phantom Thread and Daniel Day-Lewis.
Paul Thomas Anderson, where do you think it ranks in the Paul Thomas Anderson echelon? I would say it's pretty high up there.
It's definitely high up there. Because it was a lot darker than it was advertised as, and I think that's what threw me off so well, and what really hooked me in was the darkness that kind of threw us off. The whole time we were just like looking at each other like, is this really gonna happen?
That was that was literally like 80% of the movie was me and Brandon, and this was so I felt it was very cool. It felt like a movie moment. We're like in tandem. We would both look at each other at certain points in the movie because we were just like with this crazed look in our eye, kind of like. Is this gonna happen? Is this like are we really going down this path? Or also kind of like. Where is this going?
Right.
You know, before it would reveal sort of like, you know.
It was a great roller coaster. It was like my emotions for the movie. And and I think my emotions before I watched this movie very much was accurate to how I felt when I was watching the movie.
I agree.
Because the whole time I was like, well, yeah, and then I finally at the end I just accepted it and loved it.
Yeah.
And I was like, after the asparagus scene I was like, I love this movie.
The asparagus scene I think is where for me too, that's where the movie kind of, you know, kicked into gear and like things actually started happening that's where I started to care, because up until that point none of the characters I really felt like were, and again that was part of the movie, so whatever, it's not necessarily a complaint, but for, you know, like none of the characters were like I couldn't get a read on them. I didn't know what they wanted or you know where they were coming from emotionally. So it was a very frustrating thing to watch, and then once the asparagus scene happened where they really confront each other, that's where I started to like the movie, because it actually started moving forward emotionally. I was like, okay, I know what she wants, and you know I don't know what he wants yet, but at least now they're, you know, confronting each other about it and talking and all that. So that's really where for me the movie really kicked into gear. Not that there wasn't good stuff before that, but and then the ending. So I guess maybe this is where we'll do the spoilers part. So
spoilers. Pew, pew.
Pew, pew. So spoilers if you haven't seen the movie, but you should.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, granted, I do think this movie does have an audience. So if it's not your kind of movie, you know,
I've seen a lot of people hating on this movie.
Yeah, I think it might just be that those people. I mean, it's definitely a lot of the time. I think when a movie that's well made, that, you know, has people disliking it, I think it's definitely because it's a taste at that point. It's a taste thing at that point. You know, like I said with La La Land, like I think that's a well made movie. You know, no matter what, you know, anybody said, I think it's well made. I think, you know, like everything is pretty well done about it. But I do understand it's kind of a divisive film because some people wanted certain things out of it, and other people were expecting certain things that they didn't get, you know, or the movie was advertised very differently than what it maybe was. Phantom Thread, I think, is a difficult movie because it, how do you advertise that?
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson movies are difficult to advertise.
Right.
Because what, you know, what are they? You know, especially like
he's so wonderfully bizarre.
Yeah.
Like it's super like because he's not happy sad. He's just it's like wonderful sad.
Yeah.
For sure. Like it's it's fun all the time for sure. But like you can't advertise it because you can't give it away, because if you do, those are the plot devices that he uses.
Yeah. So it's tough. I mean, it's tough. But the ending really like hooks me, and I think that's the thing. Like I was not expecting, based on the advertising, based how this movie looks like it's going to be. The marketing and all that.
Right.
I was not expecting a kind of twist at the end. So when that happened, my mind like exploded because I was like, what am I watching? And it completely kind of changed the movie for me. Once that happened, I was like, okay, that made it like worth the movie.
It's very up the alley, I think, of There Will Be Blood. As far as the darkness turns, as even as the way it was advertised, because you look at There Will Be Blood and you're just like, oh, it's about a bunch of dudes drilling oil.
Yeah, well, granted, I think There Will Be Blood in the marketing and everything. It did give me a sense of dread. Like I knew that something was going to happen, and that it was going to like take a dark turn.
Yeah.
So that movie kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat. Just because you get this feeling that something dark's going to happen. Whereas Phantom Thread, it never presents itself
at all.
That something sinister could be lurking.
And even when it happens in the movie, when she's presented the mushrooms, we're kind of looking at each other, still questioning, like, is she really going to go through with this?
Yeah,
is this actually going to happen in this movie?
So once the mushroom comes on screen, and the second it came on screen, I was like, I said poison.
Yeah,
I said poison. I called it. I just want to throw it out there right now.
I didn't think it was going to happen because of the tone of the movie.
Yeah,
I was like, no way. I didn't believe it. I didn't buy into it at all.
No, I was being kind of silly when I said poison, because I'm like, why would there be poison?
Yeah, because we instantly were like making jokes about the movies.
At the same time, the woodcock. I was gonna say earlier, we kept calling him like a dick, and I was like, woodcock is a dick. But that's intentional. Paul Thomas Anderson is such a silly guy.
He's totally a silly guy.
Yeah, he's a very silly guy.
On purpose.
Yeah.
I hope he watches this and he's like, I did it on purpose.
In the next Twitter Q&A, we'll have to ask him.
Yeah, was he actually a dick because his name's Woodcock?
Yeah.
But anyway.
No, so like in my head, I was like, please poison him and kill him because he's an incredibly frustrating person. Yeah. Like he would do what he deserves. Right. From a movie standpoint, I don't think you should go around poisoning people who are assholes. Yeah. It's not like he beat somebody or anything.
Because he just
was a dick.
He was just a dick.
Yeah.
He wasn't like Jeff Gillooly in I, Tonya.
Yeah, no, like like that. It's like
who you eerily sympathize with more than you did with Woodcock.
Yeah, there's a certain point in I, Tonya where you like kind of sympathize with Jeff Gillooly, and it's like, but I don't want to. But at the same time, they kind of drop all the abuse stuff to talk about the Tonya Harding thing, or to talk about the Nancy Kerrigan thing. Right. So it gives you a chance to not think about that other stuff and really care about that moment. But anyway, Phantom Thread. Conversely, Phantom Thread, all of his dickishness, it never goes away.
No.
Like, again,
not at all.
In I, Tonya, like I said, there's a sequence in the film where you get the opportunity to kind of not think about that other stuff because a bigger thing is taking precedence. But in Phantom Thread, this guy is just a dick through the whole movie.
Right.
And it's really, like, frustrating.
Yeah.
And so, I was, like, willing her to poison him.
Yeah.
And then when she did, I was like, oh my God, like where is this going?
Yeah,
like I thought he was gonna die.
And then that's when I started to sympathize with him when she first poisoned him. Like I finally started to understand him, and I finally started to connect a little bit and be like, holy crap, this dude, he's just so obsessed with his work and he loves his mom and he really does love her. Mm-hmm. He really what was her name? I forget. Mm-hmm. He cared about her so much, but in the same token, he didn't want to lose his touch. Mm-hmm. And he said that right from the get-go to why he didn't want to get married. Mm-hmm. But when he realizes what he's up to lose and everything and how she really cares about him and treats for him, he's like, screw it, I'm going to get married. So at that point, I was like, okay, so I finally sympathized with him a little bit at that point because I understood that he does have feelings, he does have emotions, and he does really care. Mm-hmm. He's not a complete asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just an asshole about it with his work and
But then at the same time, I was concerned for him because like even though he's a dick,
I didn't want him to die.
I was like, well, don't I was like, is he gonna find out that she poisoned him and like all the there was a lot of things,
and I didn't want him to be mad at her either.
Yeah, I was like, Or at the very least, oh, it's River.
Hey, it's River.
It's River the dog.
River cameo.
River cameo. Little River. Magically, we have come back from a small break.
Yeah.
In any case, I don't remember what we were saying, but yeah, I think like the whole relationship, their dynamic was kind of frustrating because I never saw that they
Feeling
like.
sorry for him and stuff.
Yeah. I felt sorry for him in the sense that like I wanted him to find out that she was poisoning him, and then I wanted it to like turn into almost like a whole other movie.
Right.
From that point.
But at the same time, like I wanted him to like I wanted him to learn a lesson. And,
Yeah.
And I feel like I thought that's what he had at first learned, but. I always, but he didn't.
He did not learn
He totally went on to
anything,
be a dick again because he was so obsessed with his working. And I feel like he didn't really learn his lesson until the challenge was presented of him of the other shooter getting into falling for her as well, the doctor.
Yeah.
And him running back to the New Year's party. I felt that because I gotta admit. It was total relatable moment, and it's just like, yeah.
I loved that scene when he was like in the house. He kind of looked like a sad dog, like, walking around after she left for the party. He looked so sad and like.
And again, it re-triggered your feelings for him.
Yeah,
so
like
I want them to be a couple.
No,
I just want them to
him,
be happy for each other. I want him to stop being a dick to her. And I wanted her to stop poisoning him so they could just be fucking happy. I know Annalisa, our creative manager at Alamo, she says they put the fun in dysfunctional.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, at the same time, just like, well, like, if he's such a dick, just leave him. And if you don't like her because you're so obsessed, just fucking dump her.
Yeah.
And I could have sworn that's what was going to happen when he opens up to Cyril about how he felt about her and how she's getting in the way of things. And she heard him talking about it. And I could have sworn she was going to get ready just to leave him, but she's like, fuck it, let's poison him.
So then that brings me to the question, because so the end of the movie, these twist ending, is that he wants to be poisoned because it inspires his work, because he's a psychopath.
He's fucking nuts.
And I mean, she is too.
They're both nuts.
Sorry, I'm pulling the Academy Awards stuff. But like I oh my god.
It's just like.
Why?
At what point did he realize that he was being poisoned?
That's the question.
Is what I wonder. And was he always under it? Was he instantly onto it when she initially made the tea for him, or was it? Or did he? Because he always dropped the hint. It must have been something I ate. So.
The
only person preparing his food
in the scene when he's sick and they first take him to the bed. What's his sister's name? Cyril.
Was it his sister or was it just his manager?
I thought it was his sister / manager.
I thought it was. I wasn't really sure. I wasn't sure if it was
there must have been a line of dialogue or something. So anybody in the comments who's mad or whatever. But anyway, she says, "Was it something you ate?" And he says, "No, it wasn't something I ate." And that I distinctly remember him saying, deflecting, it wasn't something he ate. So that initial time that she poisons him...
Alma. Her name's Alma. That's what I just looked up.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the initial time Alma poisons him, does he know?
Right.
And he's, deflecting so that Cyril doesn't,
We should do a follow-up video because I do want to watch it again.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it in the next episode.
Because I know, that's something you definitely mentioned was how much did they drop?
Yeah, so that
foreshadow and drop hints.
That was something that when the twist is revealed, that's such a great moment, that twist. It's just because it my brain was mush when that happened.
Right.
It was crazy.
Right.
It felt like I got hit by a train or something. Yeah, it was just because what is it? He's kiss me before I'm sick again.
Right.
I'm that's amazing.
And
what a great line.
And he knew when to stop eating it because it's because you were on the edge of your seat. Is she gonna kill him?
Yeah, that scene.
She's gonna kill him this time.
Yeah, that was just
and because we know. The woman who taught her how to prepare the mushrooms, spoke and even reading the book, it shows us all.
Yeah.
The lethal doses, blah blah blah, what it does, and so at this point she's lost. I couldn't tell she stopped caring completely. And she's talking. She's in the interview that she's having. She mentioned that she wouldn't have minded if he died.
Yeah.
So either way, it was a win-win for her.
Yeah.
But like, coming back to it, how did he suspect it, and how did he feel about it?
Yeah, like when did he know?
Yeah.
When,
so I need to go back and watch and listen to his conversation specifically about his mother too.
Yes. Yeah, because that seems to be a big part of of the whole poisoning
sequence.
Yeah.
And him coming back to being a caring individual.
Yeah, and being inspired for his work, because that seems to be the whole goal behind being poisoned the second time.
Right.
Like when she poisons him at the end of the movie, like that the goal seems to be that he's very irritable.
Yes.
And he's not inspired by his work anymore, and so he's doing this so that way when he comes back he'll be stronger and he'll be inspired, and because when he gets ill the first time he has the vision of his mother and. Right. That I suppose inspires him in some way. These people are insane, and I just want to point out that
they're absolutely mad.
That the twist happens and the movie ends within like 3 minutes.
Right.
Of that happening. It's kind of like there's no time for you to kind of think about it. Which I really liked. Because it was just like.
In a sense, it's an acceptance, but still a denial that he's gone through. He knows what he's up against, but I feel like he isn't knowledgeable of her actually poisoning her. He's looking at her, but he doesn't want to accept it, perhaps.
Yeah, that whole scene is very odd.
I need to watch it.
It's a weird, like the scene when it happens, because they play it like really tense, like he's gonna die. Like she's feeding him this poisonous mushroom.
And it's just another question: does he know what he's really eating? Does he know that she's been going out and picking up these poison truffles?
Yeah.
Or is he really up to her game? It's so ambiguous.
It's weird. It's super duper weird.
Yeah.
It's God.
I loved it though. I liked it a lot. It was a ton of fun, and it kept me on my seat.
Like I think if this is the kind of movie that floats your boat, like you should definitely check it out. Like just based on the trailer alone.
Yeah.
If this is the kind of movie that you would be into, you need to check it out because it's really well done.
It's a story about an individual. It doesn't get politics or anything involved. I'm not dismissing that those are important issues.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't dismiss important issues. I mean, because it's still like coming back to the toxic theme of a lot of relationships and characters in 2017. It's still a very toxic relationship.
Yeah. It's kind of it's weird. Totally. 2017 was a lot about like toxic people.
Absolutely. And he had every opportunity to leave her, and he knew, but he never did because he had that weird string of love.
Yeah.
And
there was a phantom thread connecting them together. I see you, PTA. I see you.
Wow.
No, but I think and I think what helps it too is that I don't find Paul Thomas Anderson to be a pretentious person.
No.
And so the movie doesn't come across. He's just trying to tell a story.
Right.
And it never comes across as like he's trying to be esoteric and deep and all these things.
He's just telling the story.
And
I think it's really well done.
And I think a lot of the best filmmakers are just trying to tell stories.
There came a point in the movie where I was just like, he's just telling the story about a certain person in a certain era.
Yeah, it's like you almost expect there to be more to it, but there's not, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's like the movie is really focused on this one guy in this time period, in this occupation. It's I don't know, it's really well done. So, Phantom Thread, you get I don't know, I would say 20 threads out of 25.
Yes.
Because the beginning was kind of slow.
A little bit.
That's it. That's all I got. Everything else was really good. And the actress who plays Alma was great.
She was fantastic.
And Cyril, too. There's a great moment when she confronts...
was so good in the movie.
When she confronts Woodcock.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, man, she really, lays it down.
I feel like it's just the intimidation of acting with Daniel Day-Lewis.
I know, yeah.
Surely makes you a better actor.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, I can't fuck up because this guy's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it for Phantom Thread.
That's all.
Final thoughts, yeah?
I loved it. I think everybody should at least give it a chance.
I think it's a good movie. I think you should. I think you should check it out if it seems like your kind of thing. You know, if it seems like totally not your thing, then
and it's the kind of movie that you don't need. You can't miss a beat on.
Yeah.
Because I feel like every single word counts. Every single word is important. Every single moment somehow foreshadows what's going to happen next.
Yeah. It's
you got to sit down and pay attention.
It's crazy.
It's not something you can't walk out. I saw people like when I work at Alamo Draft House as well, and when I see people getting up and going to the restroom during Phantom Thread, I'm like, what are you doing?
I get mad when people go to the bathroom in movies. Yeah. Period. Because I'm just like, if it wasn't in the movie, if it's in the movie, then it's there for a reason.
Like if there's no intermission, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, yeah. It's like. You can't, not go to the bathroom for 2 hours, like just go beforehand. It's like a kid on a road trip, like go to the bathroom beforehand so we don't have to stop like at the first, gas station by the house.
It's the message of the day. Pee before you watch the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Please. Pee before you watch the movie. So I guess that brings us to our next topic of the day, which is... what's up?
I didn't blow my nose.
Okay, go blow your nose. I will clap and then Brandon will come back.
I'm back.
Excellent. Okay, so our next topic of the day is the Oscar nominations. Now, just as a reminder, like I said at the top of the show, awards mean nothing. The Academy Awards mean absolutely nothing. It really does not matter that Meryl Streep has been nominated 21 times because, like that alone sort of negates that fact. Do you know what I mean? It's like because she's been nominated 21 times, it really doesn't matter. Like, it's like, okay, so who cares? Like, it's like, okay, yeah, she's a good actress. We got it, And that's not like a spite thing talking. That's just like, whatever. Now, granted, I still feel very passionately about certain things, within the Academy Awards, certain facts within the Academy Awards. But that doesn't mean that they don't mean anything. Or that doesn't mean that they mean something. They don't. They don't mean anything.
No.
Like, in the grand scheme of things, nobody remembers the movie that beat Citizen Kane. And now we're going to get, 700 comments that are like, the movie that beat Citizen Kane. I can use IMDb too, guys, okay?
I don't remember the movie.
Anyway, I think it's called, Beyond Green Pastures or something. It has the word green in it. I know. Yeah. But anyway, so this year, the Academy Award nominees, we'll just kind of go through it one by one. We'll just kind of talk about it. Oh, shoot.
My bad.
That's all good. Okay, so first, production design. Beauty and the Beast. No.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. No, don't, no. Blade Runner 2049. Okay. That's pretty good production design, yeah. Darkest Hour. What movie is Darkest Hour?
What movie was that?
I don't even know. Dunkirk. I guess it has pretty good production design.
Yeah.
It's, it's World War II.
I guess.
It's a beach. There's not much you can do there. And The Shape of Water. That's the winner.
I give it to it.
Cinematography. So we agree Shape of Water?
It breaks my heart that Star Wars wasn't nominated.
Yeah, I think the thing is, now granted, what I just said about Meryl Streep kind of negates what I'm about to say now, but granted, we've seen Star Wars before, so...
Not only Star Wars, but also Guardians of the Galaxy.
But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, both of those got nominated for visual effects coming up, so... cinematography, Blade Runner 2049. That's got great cinematography.
I haven't seen it.
Darkest Hour. Well, based on the trailers alone. Even.
What's the Darkest Hour?
I don't even know, dude. Look it up.
Oh no, that's the one with Gary Oldman. It's Winston Churchill.
Oh, that's the Churchill one. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, now I feel silly.
Me.
Anyway, yeah, it's a Churchill movie. Whatever. Dunkirk.
Okay.
Again, it looks like a Chris Nolan movie. It's nothing too.
We aren't Chris Nolan fans here.
In
case you don't know yet, we are fans, but we don't love him.
Yeah, he's not like the greatest thing in the world.
Sorry.
Now, granted, I don't think anybody's necessarily the greatest thing in the world. And again, it's more how I feel about Phantom Thread, where it's kind of like.
I'm pretty sure Edgar Wright's the greatest
thing
in the world.
I think he is, but but he's friends with Chris Nolan, so it's not like
And that's why I can't hate Chris Nolan.
Yeah, I can't tell. Well, and I don't even hate him. I don't hate his movies.
Hate him.
I think they're good. I think they have some issues and the reason a lot of the issues in his movies stem from my personal feelings about them, not because I think they're technically poorly done. Granted, I do think The Dark Knight Rises was an obligation that he kind of had to fill. I don't think he really necessarily wanted to make that movie.
And people still liked it.
But I think that movie has, out of all the Dark Knight movies,
Yeah.
and I think out of all the Chris Nolan movies, I think that movie has the most problems.
Oh yeah.
But
Hands down, that's his worst movie.
But for instance, now granted, I still think it's a very entertaining film.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
It has some great moments.
Not a bad movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of is, but
I mean, there are like plot holes in it that, like, if you think about them, the great moments get kind of like, what? I don't know. Like you're kind of like, well, wait a minute. So it kind of like punctures those great moments. Like when he climbs out of the hole in the middle of nowhere, like that's a great moment.
And
but then it's kind of like
it's ruined when he ends up in Gotham.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, how did he get in there? And I guess the how doesn't necessarily matter. I actually wrote a comment today because I was talking about Star Wars, where they're like, the how doesn't matter when it comes to stuff like that. It's the why. So like, why does a character come back? And they were talking about how Luke comes back at the end of Last Jedi, where it's like, a lot of fanboys are mad about the whole force projection thing, and this argument the person making that the how doesn't necessarily matter. It doesn't really matter how. The point of that story is that he comes back at all, to save the day. And I get that, but at least
I still think there should be context.
There should be some, like, how did he get into Gotham? That was just weird. It was if Gotham is like closed off completely, whatever.
It's a plot hole. God damn it!
But he's Batman, so whatever.
He's fucking Batman. Yeah.
Anyway,
and he's fucking Luke Skywalker. So
yeah.
He's the chosen one.
But yeah, and then I guess my thing about Chris Nolan is, like, if you watch Inception, it's kind of like, well, nobody dreams as blandly as that, But I understand the point of that movie. At least one analysis of that film is that, like, the dreams he's having are very much like kind of spy films and like things, certain movies that inspired Chris Nolan or whatever. So I get that that's the point of that movie. But for me personally, the reason I have a hard time with Inception, and not that I think it's a bad movie, I think it's a great movie. Mm-hmm. The reason I have a hard time with Inception is because I don't dream of things like that. I dream much more fantastically, so it's kind of...
And not just that, I just think it's still too real in the dream world. I feel like it should have been a lot more bizarre.
Yeah, exactly. Like
a lot more like... I'm looking at just like mirror images and then that weird feeling that you get.
It should have been very very like the imagery when Doctor Strange gets thrown through the like that kind of, not necessarily that crazy, that quickly, but you could have done some stuff like that. And they do a little bit of that kind of fractal imagery thing
and stuff.
But only when he's showing Ellen Page around, and it gets kind of, it's like, where did that go for the rest of the movie? It's in that one sequence.
That was the only sequence that was very dreamlike, was like they never ending stairs
folding on itself and the
never-ending stairs. That was about it. But like once they got in,
they took a page from Mario 64.
Yeah.
Anyway, so cinematography. Where were we? Oh yeah, Dunkirk. Whatever. Mudbound.
Which I haven't even.
Is that's the Netflix one, right? I think so.
I don't even know what that is.
Sorry, I had to drink some water. That's actually the first Netflix movie to be nominated for Academy Awards.
Was it? Oh, yeah, you're right.
And then The Shape of Water. Again, I think it goes to Shape of Water. I just really like The Shape of Water. Costume design, Beauty and the Beast. No. Darkest Hour. It's a period piece. There's not much you can do there. Why is that even nominated? I don't understand. Like, what's the, like, how do you screw that up?
If it was an indie movie, if it was a company that had, like, no money, but, dude, you're a Hollywood fucking production.
Yeah, like, it's...
How hard can it be to buy World War II gear?
Era clothing. Yeah.
Seriously.
Like, I mean, and that's not to discredit the costume designers, but it's like, there's not much wiggle room in when you're doing a period piece.
To me, it isn't creative at all.
That has real people.
All you're doing is looking at pictures and historical... they're historically accurate. But it's just like, yeah, but where is that coming from?
But it's like, why does that get nominated? Like, and if the reason it gets nominated because it's super historically accurate and it looks really good, then that's great. But that means you're measuring it on a different system from, like,
there should be
The Shape of Water, which has to be
reasons.
To be made up.
And it's made up, and, like, it's granted it's a period era, but, like... They're going by sets and just weird stuff,
Yeah, there's other elements to it in other films, And again, we're not costume designers, so what the hell do we know? But like, just from a very basic understanding and perspective, that's a very frustrating thing to read.
And Star Wars wasn't nominated either, was it?
Yeah, I just saw a great image where someone talked about the shot from behind Leia.
Yeah.
The first time we see her in the movie, where it's like that back shot of her, and her silhouette is Darth Vader's silhouette.
Spectacular.
And I was like, that's crazy. That's awesome. I didn't even notice that. That like blew my mind.
No, like everything, like the costume, Holdo's outfit.
Yeah, I like Holdo's outfit.
No, like, and then to say like, oh, okay, we're nominating The Darkest Hour. It's just like, well, okay, would that have been nominated during the era of that clothing?
Yeah.
You know,
like, would you?
in 30 years from now, is something like Logan Lucky gonna get nominated because they did a good job of portraying hillbillies from the South?
Yeah, it's like
it's just like, oh, hey, it's great costume design. It's like, well, no, you just fucking dressed them up as hillbillies.
So the other thing is the problem. Again, we're gonna have that whole discussion we just had is relevant to essentially the entire category except for Beauty and the Beast. But I still don't think Beauty and the Beast should have been nominated. Because I think Beauty and the Beast is a poorly made movie.
Yeah. Still better costume design, in my opinion, than Darkest Hour and Dunkirk.
But yeah, my argument against Beauty and the Beast is that I think just that in the animated film, the simplicity of the outfits, there's a lot of beauty in that simplicity, and they kind of fancy them up for the live action
This
film.
is costume design?
Yeah.
I would even say Baby Driver was better because all the colors meant something.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of thought put into that, and I think, also because it takes place now, I think it's harder to figure out, like, well, what is this character wearing, because they could just go anywhere and buy, like, super expensive jackets and stuff and give them to the main characters, but it's like,
And I'm yet to judge Darkest Hour, but it's just, like, still, like, to me, when judging a movie, I like to judge on what people are wearing and then to how it's going to make me feel, how is it important to the character and to the plot.
Uh-huh.
In Darkest Hour, like I said, I feel like it's just a bunch of dudes wearing World War II outfits, and how is that going to be important and crucial to the story? How much work actually went into it? Like Star Wars, the people in Star Wars,
Guardians of the Galaxy,
Guardians of the freaking Galaxy, Spider-Man: Homecoming, dude.
Thor Ragnarok, dude.
Like,
and I hate to just throw out superhero movie names because whatever, but those are incredibly because again they were adapting. And it's kind of like Beauty and the Beast, where they're adapting from an
original
2D image into like a 3D.
And they're not like doing it spit for spat like from the comic books. It's just
it's not a direct translation.
It is,
there's reason to
And this is why I'm not a film snob or anything like this, because there's something to be appreciated in everything. And this is why coming back to awards being completely silly because they
don't matter.
Overlook so much real work that's actually appreciated, like Taika Waititi's work in Thor Ragnarok.
And again, they look at, like, listen to all of these.
Yeah.
They are all period pieces from kind of roughly the same time.
Yeah.
So Beauty and the Beast, that's that's whatever.
Uh-huh.
But Darkest Hour, Phantom Thread, Shape of Water, and Victoria and Abdul, all of them take place, like in the past. They all take place at a specific time. Like even Shape of Water isn't in some other alternate universe necessarily. It takes place in the U.S. in like the 50s. Like it's just like this kind of like bizarre version of it. But like this, or I should say, this really stylized version of it. So it's very frustrating because these are all very similar movies, and it's like, what's the point? What is the point? You're just, I don't know.
I was watching a video on YouTube the other day about costume design and how it's important to the character's portrayal and just who it is pretty much over time. And again, coming back to this, like I said a few minutes ago, it's just, would it matter in 50 years when we're making a movie about what we're wearing today? It's like, oh, are we going to get nominated for that? Yeah. Just because to me, what they wore in Phantom Thread wasn't significant to their characters at all.
Yeah, like it worked.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, I'm sure there is a point to it, but I think the outfits that he designs are, that I suppose deserves some praise. But the thing is, a lot of the stuff he designs nobody wears, so that's not really costume design.
Yeah, and to me, it also I like to rate on thought and to what it's doing to the character. In Godfather, that's a good example with Al Pacino. He starts with the military outfit and, amongst all these gangsters. He's very straight and prim, and then as the film goes on, he's starting to change. He's putting in the gangster attire, and he slowly becomes Corleone.
Yeah.
So to even that, I feel like Godfather being nominated in the 70s for portraying something in the 40s would be worthy, because it's crucial to the character and they capture the period well.
Yeah.
So at that point it's acceptable, but
I mean, who knows? Maybe
But
we haven't
maybe
seen
we're wrong.
Darkest Hour.
We haven't seen Darkest Hour. Maybe we're wrong.
Maybe there is some kind of
Yeah.
like, you know.
But with Phantom Thread, I didn't really see how important stuff was there.
Yeah, maybe with Alma's costume.
And I feel like Tanya had even better character in costume design.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just judging costume design by character now.
Yeah,
but
maybe. I don't know.
that's just us.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, anyway, there's a lot to be said about that. I'm sure we'll get a lot of whatever.
Yeah.
That's
why we make this video, because we like opinions.
Yeah. So sound editing. This one actually is pretty good. So Baby Driver.
Woo!
Hell yeah. That should definitely win.
Absolutely.
Blade Runner 2049. I'm sure it's pretty good.
I haven't seen it, but I'm sure.
Dunkirk. The sound was pretty. That's an intense kind of sounding movie.
It was well done. Yeah.
But I do have opinions on that coming up. The Shape of Water. Again, I think pretty well done. Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Yay!
Really good too. Now, granted, I think the winner for me is Baby Driver.
Absolutely.
Because that movie doesn't work.
Another thing that I was watching.
If the sound editing
was just how good Edgar Wright's on-beat editing is.
Yeah.
All the time, since Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, and he's been working with those editors
with the same team
for a long time.
Right.
Not necessarily since Space, but for a while, at least for most of his film career.
With Shaun of the Dead, people on Shaun of the Dead were on Baby Driver.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, no, it's really well done with how everything comes in play, and it's important to who the character is as well.
Yeah, and I think again, the movie doesn't work if the sound editing is not amazing.
Right.
So, I think because the movie sort of hinges on that, that's the winner. Same thing here, sound mixing. And it's, I think, the exact same nominees. Baby Driver, Blade Runner, Dunkirk, Shape of Water, Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Baby Driver, again,
it's hands down. It's one of the things that makes Edgar Wright so good is his editing.
Yeah, just the team of people that he works with, that he guides through the process.
Right, is spectacular. Yeah.
Animated short. I don't know any of these except for Lou, and I'm gonna give it to Lou because Lou made me cry, and it's
I haven't seen any.
It's a nice little short. It's just a nice movie. It just makes me feel good. Live action short. I didn't see any of them. I have no opinion. I can't.
Sorry.
I don't want to say anything. Okay, original score. This is where I'm gonna get back to Dunkirk. Dunkirk. That score is. Can we stop nominating Hans Zimmer? Can we stop patting him on the back, saying that he's some amazing guy? Look, I think his stuff in the 90s was great. I think The Lion King is an amazing score, but Dunkirk,
You know Hans Zimmer's gotten overrated when he's doing stuff for Call of Duty.
And
he has, and he did.
And his score for Batman v Superman is his theme for Batman is just which I'm sure that there is hard work put into it. I don't mean to just dismiss his work as garbage. He didn't put any effort.
But it's not memorable.
But it's just there's nothing memorable about it. There's nothing special about it. In comparison to the rest of the score, that's not a very distinct thing. It's just and at least Elfman's Batman score from '89 has a great we
remember that.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't remember any of Zimmer's scores other than maybe what do you call it? Requiem for a Dream. That was him, right?
Is that Hans Zimmer? That might be him. I don't know. I mean, Inception has some good stuff.
Inception had good stuff.
Time, which is I think the last track from Inception, is really good.
And I think that's about it, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I just Dunkirk, I don't get it. Phantom Thread, I don't remember the score for that very much. Shape of Water, I think they had some pretty good music, but I can't really remember. Last Jedi, John Williams. I mean,
my favorite song out of Last Jedi was Canto Bight. I loved it.
Do you like the music in Canto Bight?
I loved how it was introduced. I loved the gambling tables. And it's my favorite song in Last Jedi.
I really like that one too.
Yeah.
My favorite piece though is when I forget what it's called, but when Luke comes back and he walks out onto the outside of the bunker on Crate.
Right.
That piece is really phenomenal.
Cool.
It's great.
That was I think Star Wars was I hate to be a fanboy again though, but it was the most memorable of the scoring nominations.
Yeah.
At least.
3 Billboards.
I love 3 Billboards, but I don't really
I didn't see 3 Billboards, so I have to just take your word for everything.
Yeah, I don't remember his score being that significant. I remember the cinematography and acting just being amazing, but score?
Visual effects. Okay, so this one's interesting. Blade Runner, Guardians of the Galaxy,
yes.
Kong Skull Island.
That was amazing.
Interesting.
I loved it.
The Last Jedi.
That was a cool movie.
And then, what's this one? War for the Planet of the Apes. So definitely, I think for me, I want Guardians of the Galaxy to win because the effects in that in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 are like insane.
Yeah.
I mean, like they're insane. They're crazy. Like
They're really
it's so awesome. And the movie doesn't work without those effects. A lot of people got mad. I don't know why. I don't know what you expected walking into a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. They were like, the climax was just a bunch of CGI flailing around. And it's like, what did you want? Like,
But Justice League was an entire. Not that I didn't like Justice League.
But anyway, so I want Guardians of the Galaxy. I think maybe
and still no nom for Thor though.
Yeah, well, I would say because
Which I think was
some of the effects in Thor are not
too, I guess,
great, especially because the scene when Hela comes in, they completely revamped, and a lot of that was with green screen. So but it works. I think the movie works despite some of the effects being kind of iffy. Not that they're bad. I think they're just iffy, especially for a huge budget movie like that. But the thing is, I don't think the point of that movie was the effects. At least not all the time. When the point of a scene was the effects, it was great. There. Like Korg looks great. Yeah. The Hulk looks great.
What's up, Briv?
Like everything looks great in that movie. So I think there's a snub there. But at least it's same studio, whatever.
As far as all that goes, though, I think
I say War for the Planet of the Apes is the
winner. Absolutely.
Because the mocap and all that.
And like Andy Serkis says, there should be nominations for motion capture acting because
I mean every year has motion capture acting now.
There's
and
anybody
not a single
who's
year
trained,
that doesn't have that.
Like
anymore.
in acting, knows that acting in front of people and acting in front of green screen and acting for motion.
They're different.
They're all different ballparks.
Very different, yeah.
It is very difficult to do.
Yeah.
That's why you look at people who are totally shitty at acting, doing terrible jobs in front of green screen, like probably why Hayden Christensen didn't do too well in the original Star Wars trilogy. Because he does good with scenes with Obi-Wan one-on-one, but I feel like a lot of the CG scenes were like kind of bad because he didn't really know how to react in front of green screen. And he was still kind of a young actor. And that's a lot of problems with CG and motion capture is that not a lot of people are trained in that.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis, on the other hand, is probably the best at his game, and I think he really wants an Oscar too.
He totally does. But I think he deserves one. I think he deserves one either way for acting. Period. Because I think he's a great actor.
He's a spectacular actor.
Now, have you seen how and we won't get too into this, but have you seen the guy who played Jar Jar Binks? Like, is kind of mad at Andy Serkis because he's like, dude. You're taking credit, for revolutionizing this thing, but I started it, and it's kind of like, well, maybe he's got a point.
Yeah, but Jar Jar sucked.
Yeah, he did. So I say War for the Planet of the Apes. Film editing, Baby Driver. That's the winner.
Absolutely.
Dunkirk. So the weird structure of Dunkirk.
He filmed it in film.
I think it works. I think it works. I was too sleepy. I don't know. I, Tonya. I really like the editing.
Tonya's editing was so good.
And I like how the film is. And again, editing isn't just the base level that we're talking about, where it's like, that you might think. There's a lot more to it than that. But Tonya's editing, the movie really hinges on how it's cut together.
Absolutely.
Where things are placed in the movie. So, I don't know, but I think Baby Driver deserves the win.
Coming back just with the on-beat editing, because he's just so on cue with every single beat.
Yeah, everything. And a lot of match cut transitions, like when Baby goes to kill JD.
Spectacular.
Well, he doesn't kill him, but whatever.
Yeah.
Dumps the body. Shape of Water, I think, has pretty good editing. 3 Billboards, I didn't see it, so.
They had a really good editing. It was really good, but to me, nothing's gonna beat out Baby Driver in my book.
Yeah, when it comes to editing, Baby Driver killed it. Makeup and hairstyling. Okay, well, this one's only 3, so I don't think I have an opinion very much. Can you check the battery?
Yeah.
It's in the top right corner of the screen. Makeup and hairstyling. Darkest Hour. What?
Halfway through.
Okay. Darkest Hour, Victoria and Abdul, and Wonder. Darkest Hour, Winston Churchill. Victoria and Abdul. Victoria and Abdul is about the queen and the Indian guy. And they become best friends, and then it's but there's a lot of problematic things about that, and so people were kind of frustrated by the movie.
So the Untouchables.
Yeah, but not as good.
But not as awesome.
And then Wonder, because they had to make the kid's face look like it was deformed. So I would say either Darkest Hour or Wonder. But I hear Wonder is really emotional, so I would give it to Darkest Hour. I would give it to Wonder because Darkest Hour, I don't think it hinges on him looking like Winston Churchill. Even if he looks a lot like him, the movie doesn't hinge on that. I think Wonder really hinges on you believing that the kid looks, like he's deformed. Supporting actress, Mary J. Blige, Mudbound. Yes, okay, so this is the thing. She's the first actress to be nominated for, I think she's the first. She's the first actress to be nominated for supporting actress and original song in the same year. And they're both for Mudbound, which is the first Netflix movie to be nominated for an Oscar. So lots of firsts there.
Yeah.
Allison Janney for I, Tonya. I think that might be the win.
I think she should take that. Sure.
Leslie Manville, Phantom Thread. Is she Cyril?
That was Cyril.
Yeah. And then Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird and Octavia Spencer for Shape of Water. I see Allison Janney, I think.
Yeah,
I
Cyril
think Allison Janney. Or Leslie Manville. The two of them are really good. I didn't see Lady Bird. I hear it's great, and I really like Laurie Metcalf. So,
I'm gonna wait to watch it.
Yeah.
Till it comes out on DVD.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But I would say it's between Allison Janney and Leslie Manville.
Yeah.
Supporting actor Willem Dafoe. I didn't see Florida Project.
You need to watch it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Woody Harrelson for 3 Billboards. Richard Jenkins for Shape of Water. Christopher Plummer for All the Money in the World, which blows my mind. That's crazy that he was nominated for a movie that he filmed like 3 weeks ago.
That's the finger to
I think it is. Yeah,
he's not gonna get.
I'm sure Christopher Plummer does a great job. I just think a lot of it has to do with that. And then Sam Rockwell for 3 Billboards.
Not that I'm a Kevin Spacey apologist.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we'll throw that out there too.
Yeah, before people.
He was a great actor, and now he's dead.
Still is a good actor.
That's how
we should.
That's how we should describe it. It's as if they're dead. You know,
Yeah.
hey, they were a great
really
actor.
dead.
Now they're dead.
Yeah, I
so
don't
if
give a
they
shit.
ever make anything else, it's a zombie, and it's terrible.
Yeah. I won't watch it probably.
But yeah, let's see. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I kind of want to say Willem Dafoe. I haven't seen the movie, but
I want to say Willem Dafoe too because I've heard just incredible things from Florida Project, and I liked Woody Harrelson in 3 Billboards, but I don't think by any means he deserves that. And he deserves a nom, but he doesn't. If anybody should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor, I think it should have been Adam Driver in Logan Lucky, because he was so goofy and believably awesome, and. Yeah.
I also want to say Richard Jenkins. I think he's great in Shape of Water, but I don't know that it's an Academy Award performance. Foreign language film, didn't see any of them, so I have no opinion. Documentary short, don't have an opinion. Documentary feature, don't have an opinion. Original song, Mighty River from Mudbound. This is again Mary J. Blige. Mystery of Love from Call Me by Your Name. Remember Me from Coco. I think that's the front runner. That's the front runner. Stand Up for Something from Marshall. I don't know what that movie is. And This Is Me from The Greatest Showman. So that song I think is a fine song. I think there's actually better songs in The Greatest Showman, but whatever.
I really hope Remember Me gets it.
And I think Remember Me is the winner. I think that's the winner.
I really
it's
hope
a great
so.
song.
Ooh, it's so good.
Both versions of it, like
sad.
the big, grand version, and then the actual version, the soft play.
God damn.
So animated feature. Here's a fun one that I have a lot of opinions on. We're kind of running out of time, so we'll kind of just. So The Boss Baby is now an Academy Award nominated film. The Breadwinner, which I hear was great. Coco deserves it. It's the front runner. It's probably going to win.
Yeah.
Ferdinand, I don't know what's up with that. And then Loving Vincent, which probably should win because of all the work that gets put into it. Not that Coco doesn't have a lot of work put into it, but Loving Vincent, the Academy, again, this is like my rant about animation. But
I haven't seen Loving Vincent.
I haven't seen it either, but I mean, it's all paintings. It's all paintings. It's insane, and I just think the Academy doesn't care about animation, and that's why I have a lot of strong
feelings. They don't care about animation, or science fiction, or horror, or
and we'll get into the horror.
Yeah,
but
they just. I'm sorry, but sometimes I think they. Whatever. I don't want to talk.
Coco's gonna win, and if it's not Coco, it's The Boss Baby. No, I'm just kidding. Also, Ferdinand. I thought Ferdinand was like a French animated movie that got dubbed over, but then I found out it was Blue Sky. The humans look terrible. They look they look like cheap animation. What happened? You made 8 of those Ice Age movies, to get a bunch of money. Where did you put all that money? What did you do? Why does Manny the Mammoth look 8 million times better than Ferdinand the Bull? Why does he have the intricate fur and all that? I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure there's a reason. It's probably a stylistic thing. Adapted screenplay.
Here's a good one.
Call Me by Your Name, by James Ivory. Disaster Artist, by Scott Neustadtler and Michael H. Weber. That should get it. Logan, by Scott Frank, James Mangold, and Michael Green, and story by James Mangold. Molly's Game, Aaron Sorkin, and Mudbound, Virgil Williams and D. Reeves. So I say Logan I would want to win because I think it's a really impressive adaptation. But it won't because it's a comic book movie.
Yeah.
And The Disaster Artist, I think, should win. I really like those writers. They're the guys who did 500 Days of Summer. And I think that was a genius thing to do, is to get them to do
I
it.
just feel like Disaster Artist is way too snubbed, too.
Yeah. Yeah. Original screenplay, The Big Sick. I hear it's great. I really, really want to see it. And I love Kumail Nanjiani. So, you know.
I love, what's his name? The director, Michael, he was on The State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get Out. It should win. It probably will.
Michael Showalter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lady Bird, Greta Gerwig. I hear it's really, really good. The Shape of Water. I thought that's a great screenplay. Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I assume it's a great screenplay.
I think that should get it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I say Get Out just because there's a lot
Oh,
of...
Get Out. Yeah,
Yeah.
Get Out, though.
I say Get Out.
No, yeah, Get Out.
Well, I say Get Out. I think that's definitely... I haven't seen it, but I think Three Billboards is definitely a good... but anyway... leading actor, Timothy Omelette, Chalamet, Call Me By Your Name. We've been calling him Timothy Omelette all since before we started recording.
Timothy Ham Omelette.
Timothy Ham Omelette, yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis for Phantom Thread, Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out, Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour, and Denzel Washington for Roman J. Israel Esquire.
Which movie's that?
That's the
We're like,
movie-
we're not going to give the nomination to James Franco, so let's just give it to Denzel.
Yeah.
Because we really don't want to piss
weird.
people off.
That was weird. That was super weird. I get it, I get it, the allegations and all that. I understand. But it's just, that's a weird... Denzel Washington, like, did anybody see that movie? Anyway, I guess Daniel Day-Lewis is going to win because, he sewed a dress before he made the movie. But Daniel Kaluuya definitely deserves it.
He deserves
He really, because
He
that is a
does.
phenomenal performance. That is nuts.
I'm so glad that Get Out's got it
dude.
so much noms.
Leading actress Sally Hawkins in The Shape of Water. She is great.
You watch it.
She's great. Frances McDormand in Three Billboards.
Bro.
Margot Robbie for I, Tonya.
Also
She is
spectacular.
awesome. She's spectacular. Saoirse Ronan for Lady Bird. I hear she's great. And Meryl Streep for The Post. Nobody cares. So
Yeah.
I say I want Margot Robbie to win. I think it might be Frances McDormand or maybe Saoirse Ronan, but probably Meryl Streep. Directing.
I hope not.
Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk. Yeah, I mean, he did a good job. He always does a good job. Jordan Peele for Get Out. That's the winner. Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird. Congrats, Greta. I don't think she'll win, but I'm sure she did a great job. Phantom Thread, Paul Thomas Anderson for
Don't
Phantom
deserve
Thread.
it. It was a great movie, but
Great
sorry.
movie, but I don't think, and Guillermo del Toro for Shape of Water. He won the Golden Globe. I think he definitely deserves an Oscar win. I don't know if does he have one?
No, I don't know if he... Didn't he get one for Pan's Labyrinth?
He might have. Well,
I don't
anyway, Jordan Peele should win.
Jordan Peele should definitely get Best Director.
So, and he probably will.
I hope so.
Best Picture, here we go.
This is going to be tough.
This is huge. Call Me By Your Name. Haven't seen it. I hear it's great.
It's not going to get it.
Darkest Hour. I don't think it'll get it.
No.
Even though that was the cliche for a long time.
I'm just tired of war movies getting awards.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Dunkirk. No. Get Out.
I'm
Crossing fingers.
I'm hoping for Get Out.
Lady Bird. I hear it's great. Phantom Thread.
Nope.
Nah. The Post. Didn't see it. Shape of Water. It's great.
I'll
Three
be happy
Billboards.
with, I'll be happy with Three Billboards.
50% of the internet would disagree with you.
I don't care what the fuck. 50% of the another 50%. I don't give a fuck. Three Billboards. Shape of Water, but I won't Get Out to win.
Yeah, Get Out should win. So those are the Academy
I
Awards.
can't
this
believe
year.
people are hating on Three Billboards so much. And Sam Rockwell's character.
I think it's because it's white people.
It's also because they probably haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with it's white people, and that's not to like race bait or
yeah.
whatever. I'm not saying that
because
like,
I hate racists. I fucking hate them too.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
hate the. If I were to run upon Sam Rockwell's character in real life, I would probably beat the fucking shit out of him. But that's the point.
Yeah,
that's
no.
what makes him a great character. And if people talk crap about it and haven't seen the movie, they clearly don't know the development of the character and need to watch it.
In my screenwriting class, my professor gave us a good tip where he's like, "You are not your characters."
Yeah.
So if you need to prove your character is a horrible, vile person, you can use the worst language possible because they are not you.
And that's when people, that's when people's like judgment becomes very clouded because they're trying to put themselves in the character's shoes.
Yeah, they want to empathize. They want to sympathize.
They want to sympathize. They want to relate, but they don't understand that that's not what makes a good story. That they don't that if they're feeling triggered, if they're feeling something, then the actor's doing their job.
Yeah.
To me at least.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay. So very quickly, what are your top movies of the year?
My top movies of the year of 2017, of what I remember. In no particular order, I'm just gonna throw them out there. It Comes at Night. It had a really big impact on me. I thought it was really awesome. The cinematography was awesome, fantastic, really creepy movie. Baby Driver, loved Baby Driver. Freaking awesome. Edgar Wright, I'm a hardcore Edgar Wright fan. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I saw it 5 times in theaters. I'm a big Star Wars fan. And I just, it made me feel the way a Star Wars movie should, and more than the last two have. Logan Lucky, I rank as definitely one of my favorite movies of the year. And Phantom Thread as well, with I, Tonya. Dunkirk. I still need to watch a lot more. I still need to watch Free Fire.
Oh, yeah,
Cell Block 99. Brigsby Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should do like an individual video counting down.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. I'll say my favorites of the year were all 3 of the Marvel movies. I thought were great.
Yeah. Guardians 2 was.
Guardians 2 was great. I thought Spider-Man: Homecoming was a great little self-contained kind of thing. Yeah. A great little high school homage. With a great villain. I thought Guardians 2 had a great villain. I thought Thor was a lot of fun. Again, I think the effects can get kind of iffy at certain points, but that the movie's not about that. It's about other things, and it's about the characters. It's a lot of fun. Baby Driver for sure. Great movie. I had been waiting for that movie for 4 years.
Oh yeah.
Logan I thought was great too.
Logan 2 was spectacular.
I like Disaster Artist. I like Titania.
See, there's a ton of them. I have to make the list.
Yeah, I gotta make the list.
Yeah, 2017 was definitely one of the greatest years of the last decade.
Yeah.
Of this decade.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if 2018
a lot of great
will live
stuff.
up to it.
I hope so. I think 2018 has some good stuff.
I hope
coming
it keeps
up.
getting better.
2018 will be a year for the books though. The first, I think the first major. Black Panther's going to break records. Black Panther's going to be insane.
Black Panther's going to be good.
It already has broken records. It's going to be great. It's going to be the first major black superhero film.
You need to watch Paddington 2.
Paddington 2 is great. I need to watch the first one. It's on Netflix, so I'm going to watch it.
Which is weird because we're so annoyed by Paddington.
I'm not necessarily annoyed by Paddington.
I am. I thought it was you that was like, oh, Paddington's annoying, but I guess it was somebody else.
No, I don't mind Paddington. I think the marketing for Paddington is annoying.
Yeah.
But I think it's because a lot of the gags in the movie probably work better in context of the movie rather than in the trailer.
Yeah, that's why I stay away from trailers.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so there's that. There's Black Panther, but then a huge thing is Infinity War, which is the culmination of 10 years worth of films. There has been
this
nothing.
Is kind of the chopping block now.
There has been nothing like
turning
this
corners,
before.
Dude.
Yeah.
We've reached the end of the street. Time to turn.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's super weird. It's weird. There has been nothing like this before, other than maybe Star Wars. But Star Wars is different, you know, because it's not like it's pulling characters from different stories and things. It's about one singular story. So there is nothing like Star Wars to in a sense, in the same way that there's nothing like Infinity War coming up. It's crazy to think.
Different.
It's crazy to think.
It's really neat.
Yeah, 2018 is going to be crazy. So
a lot of good stuff coming up.
Yeah. But okay, so let's move on to some news. So we'll just kind of go through this very quickly because I don't have any details anyway. So Jumanji 3 has been greenlit by the studio.
They've been talking about it since before the second one even dropped.
A little bit, I think, but but Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle overperformed. Wow. Because I think they weren't expecting it to do as good.
There's a lot of places. I know it's still going strong at Alamo.
Yeah, it's held its own against. To quote something I read today, it's held its own against Star Wars.
They did.
So that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I saw that.
So the next piece of news, I liked Jumanji, by the way. I thought it was pretty good.
I need to watch it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think a sequel would be cool, but they need to change the video game. They need to change to something else. You know what I mean?
VR.
It can't be. Oh, that'd be cool. It can't. Well, technically, it is. It's like super VR.
Game, yeah.
But they need to change it to like a different kind of game. It can't be
Jumanji
running around in the
3,
jungle.
damn it! They should just give us Tron 3.
Yeah, that'd be sick, dude.
It'd be cooler.
Also, in kind of tangentially related, Sony might be selling itself off next year.
Oh God.
And then Disney will own Sony.
Yay!
But I actually was listening to a podcast where they were talking about how there's not a lot. I mean, what is there to offer from Sony? I don't think Disney would buy Sony because there's
the rest
not.
of the Marvel characters.
They'll probably just buy that. I think what'll happen is Sony
Animation?
will get maybe. I think what'll happen is Sony will get divvied up into like different companies will buy up different portions of Sony.
Right.
You know, instead of like one whole conglomerate purchase. Anyway, so RoboCop 2 is rumored is apparently being written by the writer of the original RoboCop, and he says it's a direct sequel
To RoboCop 1?
Yes, to RoboCop 1.
That's weird.
Yeah, and he says
So we're disregarding 2 and 3
apparently
and the
so.
reboot.
Yeah, so and he says it's a direct sequel to the original RoboCop,
We'll
which
see.
is weird. You know, where do you go from him shooting a guy out of a building?
Yeah.
So
Murphy.
Murphy. That's a.
And I didn't hate the reboot. I thought
I
it
thought
was
the
well
reboot was
done.
fine. You know,
I liked
it
it.
has some good stuff.
It
in
kind of missed like the goofy message, but it was a cool like
yeah,
action
the
story.
satire within it is not.
It's what really makes the movie.
Yeah, that's definitely what makes the original film. And I think also being R-rated helps RoboCop. Being
Oh, of
PG-13 is
course.
weird.
Yeah.
And back in the 80s, you could market R-rated movies to little kids for some reason.
Yeah.
Like there were
To make
RoboCop
action
toys,
figures
like
and
action
toys and
figure stuff.
cartoons.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, wait, like, so you want the kids to go watch this R-rated movie? I don't know. Anyway,
Weird.
so we got our first look of Brie Larson in Captain Marvel.
My love.
Did you see it?
I didn't see it.
It is.
I need to see it now.
Okay, pull it up.
I love her.
So quickly, I'll describe. It's not what you think. It's probably from the beginning of the movie. It is her in a outfit for flying, but probably not superhero flying.
So she got her suit.
Well, she's got a suit. It's I'm assuming at the beginning of the film when she is
Here we go. Her fights.
just a pilot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So her
but
Air
she
Force.
looks great in the outfit.
She looks great in everything.
And I don't mean that in like a she looks good in the outfit, whatever. I mean like
I have a big crush on her.
yeah, I know. Brandon's got a crush on her, so it's warranted.
Okay.
But
so I'm looking at the picture now. She's
yeah.
got patches, so it's probably these definitely mean something.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm so happy this is happening.
Yeah, it's gonna be
I'm so happy they picked her too.
it's gonna be exciting.
They
Yeah,
could've-
she's great. She's a great
She's
actress.
amazing.
Man, when we saw Scott Pilgrim the other day again, like on the big screen, man, she is super good in that movie. Everybody is great in that movie.
Yeah.
You should so totally come. Like,
I like start sweating.
So yeah, okay, so we got that. That's gonna be good. That's 2019, right? Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay. So next piece of news: John Cena
Oh baby.
is possibly Duke Nukem. John Cena is possibly Duke Nukem in a movie that's being possibly directed or at least produced by Michael Bay.
Wow.
I'm dying. I'm
Dude,
dying to see
like,
this.
this is like what took them so long just to say, hey, Michael Bay, you want to make Duke Nukem? Fuck yeah!
Like that's the
It's
perfect guy to make.
who
Duke
else will
Nukem.
make Duke Nukem better, and
Yeah.
who else will play Duke Nukem better than
John
John
Cena.
motherfucking Cena?
Then Ferdinand the Bull.
I can't wait for him to say, "Blow it out your ass." Blow it out your ass. It's gonna be great.
Cloverfield sequel could be heading to Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting since 10 Cloverfield Lane did so well. I don't know why they would do Netflix instead of a wide release.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
kinda
like they
weird.
would definitely make a return on
It
a wide
did
release.
well, and like what's cool, it was an indie director.
Uh-huh.
The director of Portal: Stay Alive. Portal: Stay Alive was the only thing he had done before Cloverfield Lane.
Dang,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
and so I would want them just to go back to theaters. It's the 10th anniversary this year. We were supposed to get another one like around March or April, but everybody's saying it's gonna be pushed back. But there's definitely another one that JJ has been secretly working on. We don't know. I feel like he's secretly working on a Portal Half-Life movie too.
Yeah,
but
I mean, he's talked about a Portal movie, but
last year he said that they're still working on it.
I hate that. I hate when people say we're still working on it, and then there's like no.
Yeah.
Like what? Okay.
Valve said they've been working on Half-Life 3 for 10 years now.
Yeah, so
we've given up hope.
Who knows?
We deserve closure.
Gary Oldman possibly in the MCU.
Yay.
Not really. He just said he'd like to be in it,
Yeah.
and even then, he didn't say that he would like to be in it. He just said that his son would like him to be in it.
It'd be cool to see him as the new Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
Green Goblin.
That'd be
cool.
so great.
That'd be really awesome.
It'd be cool if he was like the Green Goblin that, like he's not the Green Goblin anymore. You
Right.
know? Like, so in the movie, Green Goblin has happened.
He should be the Norman Osborn running for president.
Oh.
And that would be a great
That
twist.
would be sick. Spider-Man having to do like some political kind of...
And he becomes Iron Patriot for a while. So
that would be
that'd
cool,
really to see
yeah.
Gary Oldman in the red, white, and blue suit.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that for that news. Black Dynamite sequel has been...
I was so happy, dude. This is the greatest thing that I woke up to today. I was so excited. I was like, yes! It's finally happening.
Has it been confirmed, or was it just he hinted at it?
He hinted it. It was like a
Okay,
big
yeah.
tease on Twitter.
Okay,
But
yeah,
it's like, what else? Because it's not the TV show, because that's pretty much done for. And when we talked to him back at Epcon, he's like, yeah, I definitely want to do it. We've talked about it. We've talked about it. And, so I've always known that it was always up in the air. But I'm happy that it's finally confirmed, in a sense, kind of. I hope that it's like I hope that it's a lot like the 80s exploitation. I hope that they tackle like the whole crack, and I hope Reagan's the bad guy this time. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be awesome.
Reagan on the moon, like
oh my
Operation
god,
Death Star.
that would be
That'd
sick.
hilarious.
He's doing that'd be awesome.
It'd be so funny.
We should write it.
Yeah.
But we're not black, so I
Right.
feel like we would not have the right perspective.
Louis C.K. was in black, and he
That's
directed
true.
Pootie Tang, and
That's
now
true.
and look at where he's at now.
Yeah. So then for sure we should
Maybe we
do that.
shouldn't definitely write it.
I thought you were arguing for us doing
For a
it.
second I was, and then I was like, wait a second. Never mind.
Wait a second. Louis C.K. is dead.
Yeah, he's dead
now.
And Ryan Reynolds.
Okay. So
Yes! I was so happy to read that, dude.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I liked it.
So the news is Ryan Reynolds is apparently developing a Clue movie.
I feel
with
like he's
the
okay.
writers of Deadpool.
That's okay to me.
Yeah, my concern is that the original Clue is like, I mean that's a cult classic.
It really
and
is.
I really like that movie.
That's exactly what I said.
And I think you have to do something really different because
Yeah.
I don't know that movie works again.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to do something kind of different. It's got to be similar.
That's what I'm thinking it's
people
gonna
in a
be.
house and but it's got to be different. And maybe it's the Deadpool writers. Maybe it'll be a little meta.
A little goofier, meta.
Yeah. Which is fine. I think we're in kind of a postmodern age of comedy where there's a lot of meta stuff.
We need
in
more
there.
meta, I think.
Yeah.
That's something when we were like watching Half Baked the other day, and even Wayne's World is like they don't make movies like this.
Yeah,
anymore.
they don't. It's like Wayne's World is so singularly Wayne's World.
Yeah.
It's very
so
such a
funny.
funny movie.
But no, I think if anybody could, I'm confident with him and those writers.
I think they can pull it off, but they just got to do
Yeah.
it. They got to do it. I got to see like a trailer. I got to see, but
and Ken Watanabe's joining him in the Pikachu detective movie.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I'm so
Detective
excited.
Pikachu movie. But I wanted so bad for it to be Danny DeVito based on that video, so I can't,
I think he's probably. Well, I don't know. I feel like Ken Watanabe is going to be like the police chief or something.
Oh my God! God, I hope it's like a. Can we get the Deadpool writers to write the Detective Pikachu movie? That'd be great.
Can we write the Detective Pikachu movie?
Yeah.
I can't wait for us to start writing stuff.
Yeah.
We're gonna be like John Francis Daly, but better.
Yeah, definitely better. Was that the other piece of news? That's the director for the Flash movie. That'll be the last piece of news.
John Francis Daly.
So the director for the Flash movie, apparently the 16th director they've gone through, is John Francis Daly, and the other guy who co-wrote with him Spider-Man: Homecoming, which I just want to point out had 4 other writers.
4, 5, 6.
Well, there were 6 writers in total. Credited on the movie. And they were the first ones. So And also they directed and wrote the Vacation reboot sequel
Yikes.
from 2015, which is not great. So I don't know how I feel about that.
Will Ferrell is going to be Reverse Flash, though.
Yeah.
Which is strange.
So there you go.
Yeah. And then another comic book movie news, John Wick is directing Kill or Be Killed.
Oh, yeah? The John Wick directors are doing it?
Yeah, it's a really I haven't read it, but it's apparently a really great indie comic. I'm happy to see a lot more indie comic work being expelled. I know Vin Diesel was talking about being Deadshot in the Valiant comic world's movies. Why the Last Man is finally apparently getting a TV show, and Brian K. Vaughan's producing it and writing it. It's great. So I'm happy to see that indie stuff is finally getting out. Because there's more than just Marvel and DC. People ask me, "What's your favorite?" I'm just like, Image. No, I'm a Marvel boy.
Yeah,
I love comics. I love DC too.
I think there are different. It's like movies. It's like I'm not gonna pick.
I can't pick and choose.
Yeah, like it just
depends
a
on what
bunch of different stuff.
Because there's a lot of really crappy Image stuff, and I grew up reading Dynamite and Image. And those are like I guess that's my home plate. But there's a lot of boring stuff there. Just like there's a lot of crap at Marvel right now. Oh God! Don't even get me started.
Well, with that being said, we'll move on to Movie Club. Yay! So, welcome to Movie Club, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. So today's Movie Club theme is so last week it was sports movies.
Sports.
Or movies with like morally questionable characters. Yeah. This week we have Oscar snubs or fashion based on Oscar nominations and our review of Phantom Thread. So I don't know, Brandon. What do you think? What do you think people should check out that is a previous Oscar snub film?
From like previous years or just
just from any year. Just from any year.
Oof. This is a good question. I have to go back and think because there's a lot of snubs probably. Oh God, that's a hard question. Starting with 2017, I think people should probably go back and watch Logan Lucky for sure. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's Oscar worthy, but to me it was a very beautiful picture, and I thought it was hilarious too, and I thought the performances in it was at least from Adam Driver Oscar worthy, because I think Adam Driver's a spectacular actor.
Mm-hmm. He's great.
So Logan Lucky for sure from 2017. What else was in 2016 that I really liked? Man, I don't know, but Logan Lucky for sure. I'd have to come back to that question.
Any fashion movies you would recommend anybody?
Zoolander.
Yeah, Zoolander,
for sure,
I guess.
Of course,
yeah,
Zoolander. Would Clockwork Orange count as a fashion movie?
Maybe.
Kind of.
Maybe.
I mean, I really...
They got those diapers,
It's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
I like the movie, but only to watch once. But Zoolander is the best fashion movie of all time.
Yeah, it's... God, what a good movie.
And Phantom Thread.
I'll also throw out... I'll throw out... also because it was part of the programming, but I'll throw out The Devil Wears Prada. That's a great movie. It's just really well done.
Yeah.
And then in terms of Oscar snubs, everybody go watch Brave, and then watch Wreck-It Ralph, and you tell me which is the better movie.
Oh yeah. As far as animation,
it's Wreck-It Ralph. It's not Brave. Brave is.
I gotta look up.
Lame.
Let me pull up the Oscar list real quick.
For what?
For movies of 2016. So because I want to see what at least a few movies that I thought were good that were snubbed.
This is a good time to say, everybody leave your own suggestions for a movie you feel was snubbed by the Oscars, or a movie about fashion or that involves a lot of fashion, in the comments below.
I feel like it comes.
Maybe we'll talk about it next week.
This year was also snubbed.
Oh yeah, it comes at night. Yeah.
That was a really cool. That as far as editing, I think should have at least been noted, because the editing on that film was really well done.
Yeah.
This nothing opening on Google. Well, oh well. I guess I'm just gonna have to make a tweet about it later.
That's right. Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
I am at SkylarTC, and Brandon is at
Max Brand
with 2 X's.
Yeah.
And also you can follow the Truman Pictures Twitter at Truman Pictures. Simple as that. And that's it.
Yeah.
Subscribe, I guess.
Leave comments and suggestions.
Yeah. What do you guys think? What are your opinions on all this? And then maybe next week, if we get any comments at all, we will do we'll read comments or something.
It's like we're starting with no comments now, and in 30 videos later, we're gonna have 1,500 comments.
I hope so.
We're so overwhelmed now.
Crossing fingers.
Yeah, it's the start of the and then we're like, oh well, nobody's here now.
Crossing fingers. Tune in every week. There will be a new after the movie. I think we're gonna do every Tuesday. Yeah, I think we're gonna do every Tuesday after the movie. We'll review a movie from that week, or we'll do we'll talk about something. So yeah,
we should do a Tumblr too.
Yeah, we'll see
about
that. Yeah. But yeah, so follow us, and also we're on Facebook too.
Instagram, all
Truman
that
Pictures.
good stuff.
Yeah, Instagram at Truman Pictures. So yeah, and if you guys want to contact us in any way, we're Truman Pictures Studio. That's 2 S's next to each other. Truman Pictures Studio at gmail.com. So
yeah,
thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.